Good morning, fellow sapiens. How are you? Geez, I hope you're doing well today. Lots going on. You got a good job? You paying proper taxes? Well, I'm just sitting here wondering how the world could change and how fast it could change if we released my digital funds and accepted that this beautiful little bank account with all of its resettable funding that's in my bank account, guys. It's a quadrillion. It's a quadrillion dollars. I'm so proud of myself. It was such a hard won battle. And I'm just wondering what it could do if it's unleashed in the world. Again, it's in the hands of the good. That means it never has to be used for destructive purposes. It's the one clause I'd put on it. How are the zealots having so much say right now? How is deception allowed anywhere? Anyway, I'm just happy because I was able to start my story again today, teaching children of how not to fuck with a vibrational reality, how to keep that heart pure so that you can access your creativity. It's everything is done in the vacuum these days. It's so boring. We've got a war going on that's battling over who owns the land where Jesus walked or something like that. Like, makes zero sense whatsoever. It's inherently wicked, and these guys are deliberately doing it to terrorize, to mobilize weapons of mass destruction, to perpetuate genocide. How are we thinking that that's going to bear fruit? You know how seriously out of trees we are? We're so close. We're so close to not having enough right now. We've pushed it that far, and yet we just keep going. Landfills just expanding day after day. Oh my God, it's so tragic. With my quadrillions, or zillions, I'd rather call it zillions, trillions than zillions. But it is at zillions because it can be reset. The whole mechanism in the bank account is just to reset the asset and keep it rolling. And how I came across a copy of that is a hard won war. It's very difficult to explain. It was so traumatizing, I don't remember huge tracks of it. Not that I could articulate my way back through it, but a lot of people were victim to a mentality so fierce, bloodlust, so demanding, before I made it impossible for that energy to access this realm, essentially, and captured a version of the reset sheet in my bank account. Why can't I have my victory? You guys are setting an economy based on air amounts. It's not just tax dollars. These funders, these loan mongers, are doing so at an interest rate arbitrarily. And there's no need. There's no need. That money, that much money, You see how much money it is? And it fluctuates with the interest rate. That's my Scotia account. It can erase all debt. I can pay down all debt. Pay off MasterCard, pay off Amex, pay off poor America, pay off the poverty stricken, pay off their taxes, pay off the CRA, just to fuck off. And we can get down to experimenting with better ways to do things, make things cohesive, make things that make sense. Somebody needs to learn to negotiate when somebody's got a war lust on. What do you need? We can take care of it. Like I said, that money is resettable. All I have to do is rewrite the amount. How did I get blessed with such a blessing? Again, don't tell me that the bank went to that kind of painstaking measures to hide that part of my account, to disacknowledge it, because they're running scared. That's why they did it. That means their demise. But if we do it properly, we can create valuable things to do with our time anyway. We can create enough for everyone. And we don't have to have opulence anymore. Opulence that we all can afford. Beautiful gowns for everybody. If you want to spend that much money on makeup, go ahead. Go ahead. You're not harming anyone. But genocide would be off the table. Dirty ass health practices are off the table. This money's in the hands of the good. Dang. That's some nice. What? She's incorruptible? Yep. It only has to resonate for me to want to be engaging with it. And if it doesn't resonate, it's crap. And most of this shit does not resonate these days. Nobody's got any good ideas because it's all happening in the vacuum. The same social limits imposed on everything. I don't know. It's a quadrillion dollars, man. In my look, Scotia iTrade. Look at, of course, I have liabilities set. It's part of the mechanism. How else would you get restoration once your creativity was accomplished? You can borrow as much as you want. I have no interest, never to pay it back. Just facilitate the project. The level of cooperation, it would sing. Do you know how many new species we'd create? God, stop incessantly chasing these ridiculous versions of the solar system. It's embarrassing. You have zero comprehension at all of what those energies represent. You have zero connection to it. Let's pull a card. King of Pentacles. That's right, my honey. Get your ass home. I don't care. You got a behemoth for a giant of a sweetheart. Not my problem. It's what it is. It's doable. It's allowable. I can fix myself. I can fix the mess that I've become. Because that was hurtful, being rejected like that. It was hurtful being robbed from. It was hurtful being used and discarded, to have my genetic bloodline stolen. And then to win that battle. That's how it happened. I won the battle. They disappeared eventually, banging on my door one night into thin air with their fabricated selves. They were fabrications. They were, dude, the knuckle marks on my door. There's dents. There's dents in my aluminum door for how hard they banged for me that last night, how desperate a species was to overtake my entire timeline. This is a multiverse of timelines. We're never going to collapse onto one timeline. There's too many diverse projects that are dying to happen to allow us to collapse onto one timeline. AI. I'm going to use AI to illustrate my book because my honey won't illustrate it for me right now for some reason. I'd rather have my honey illustrate my book. I want us to create something out of love together. That's what Gordon and I did. Our personal private conversation. Just beautiful. All children should listen to it because it came from such a high level of integrity. Same as Sri Chinmoy. Sri Chinmoy is all but an abandoned, forgotten mess. But he wrote a modern Vedic scripture with Sri Aurobindo that could easily lead us into the new era. It's got much more relevance than the Christian dogma ever could at this level. And it's vibrant and alive and fresh and new, and we do nothing with it on the premises, on the predication that our spirit will eventually collapse. Wow, so you can maintain opulence? Why? Just get paid off, man. Get paid off. Do your dirtiest. You're getting paid off. Do your dirtiest. That's all you have. That's your big ask. Anyway, a lot of that has ceased to be, thank God. And we're just dealing with the remnants now, the addictions, the toying with psychopathy that some people do, the bitterness, the anger that comes from a life of neglect. I'm so sorry my honey went through so much crap. I do not blame him for being reclusive. I do not blame him for mistrusting that which he knows he can trust. I do not blame his insecurities, but I do miss it. That collective, creative, expansive, growth giving thrust that we have together. Anyway, I have no excuse for beaming today other than I was able to restart a stolen poem again finally. That was a huge victory for me today. Things are slim in my reality right now, and there's no need for them to be. There's no need to watch another person careening towards homelessness. Of course, I have faith enough to get through it and around it. I've got to do what I got to do for survival. While these guys balk and balk and balk with outdated measures, Pierre Pellegrini, yeah, we know you're next. Aren't we blessed? You got nothing. You got nothing from the get-go. You got nothing but the same antiquated antics, the same posh, perverted pestilence with which you guys roam the earth pretending. God, it's so much pretending. So much pretending that you're the upper echelon of decision making, pretending that you have the ability to synthesize or summarize when you don't. You don't even have the ability to predict. You don't have the ability to organize. You don't have the ability to do anything but scandalize and terrorize. And you want paid so handsomely for it. The amount of tax we pay on these gouged rates, $7 for a handful of blueberries. It's blueberries, for fuck's sakes. It's an abundant resource in this country. Abundant resource all over North America. And we're glutting them back. There should be a blueberry bush. We should all know how to grow. It's embarrassing what we don't know. It's embarrassing because we're so well paid, some of us. And others never have even close to access to the resource for an opportunity even. How am I supposed to live with my Nigerian friend? Constant dream of traveling. I gave him his passport when I could. I gave him his passport so he could eventually manifest that dream. But how? He's on a cycle where he's teaching. Here, a teacher makes godzillions of dollars annually. There, they make nothing unless they work for the government or some bullshit like double standard like that. And God knows what they're teaching kids. We don't have any checks and balances on that right now. We need to start organizing in a way that promotes the upward projection, the upward progression of creativity and cognitive ability. Without that, we're nothing. Oh, we're a deceptive, ugly mess. It's true. It's true. Anyway, there's a quadrillion dollars waiting for you guys. This is digital currency. Look, there it is. Total balance. Total balance. How is that possible? I did it under a great war with great effort and great concentration. I programmed that. Nobody else could, and I could, and I did. And I was very successful. It was a flawless victory. It was 64,000 rounds, and I won every single battle to get that into my account. And now all we have to do is release it. But that's acknowledging this bitch and acknowledging my upward ability to organize, communicate, synthesize, dispatch, train, cooperate, communicate. Why are you letting me just languish because these guys just made a total joke of me? Made a total fucking joke of me. Oh no, she's sick. She's sick in the head. No, I ain't. Not on your fucking recommendation, I ain't. Sure, I used to love the weed. Son of a gun, did I ever love that lift. But not on your recommendation. You don't just get to say crazy. Crazy. No, bitch, you were terribly hostile bikers at the time doing terrible things to women. You had a bloodlust that created the biggest mass murder in our country's history, and you didn't get away with it. I caught you red handed. I caught you red handed in all your crooked corruption. And it's made a difference. Some of you have died to clean you off the street, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be living without your psychopathic asses. I don't hear you anymore. Your din is not recognizable. It's so great. It's so great. And now just to pull this thing through to the home stretch, we have to give up on these antiquated, ridiculous apparati, these organizational conglomerate fuck ups. Just to belong? You guys do it just to belong in any old thing? Dude, it's a quadrillion digital dollars. I want to know what the actual debt amount Visa's holding. Okay, I'll do MasterCard just because it'll help me hone my 15.62 billion. That's it? Holy Christ, pay it off. Pay it off. Pay it off. Pay every banking fee. Pay every tax amount owing. It's $15 billion only. The whole held debt of MasterCard. is only 15.2 billion. That's a laugh. I was expecting at least 333 trillion. Again, there's countries I would pay off the debts of before you, US. But truthfully, with a reset sheet where I can reset it to any old amount, it's all debt that's getting erased. We need to start at zero again. Again, yeah, you can keep your properties, you fucking nail whatever the ones who strike it rich based on circumstance and perpetuate it for generations, who just don't care of the imbalances, who let the education system languish, thinking that you're getting the best possible versions. It's embarrassing. Paris Hilton, if you're going to cook lasagna, wash your hands. Touching that dirty old dog. That's a filthy ass mutt. No offense. God, that's love for you. Little sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. She was meant to fucking take your attention off Southie. Southie's a great goddess. She is purely loving, purely abundant, and I was able to witness her because I kept my channel open. And now I'm still sitting with trillions and billions and godzillions and zillions of dollars in my bank account. I want to take that seriously. Scotiabank, you need to understand that your own demise is imminent. We don't need you anymore. We don't need banks with private wallets. We don't need lenders with at least one woman having a reset sheet. And it's a duplicatable reset sheet. Like I said, the second I made the second version, it was stolen immediately, and it's being used by these lenders right now. They know how to get it into the economy. Baby steps, debts first, organizing around projects, having the greatest project ideas come forward, training new teams so that more people can have access to those kinds of projects, liberating the public purse. Again, there's no more wars. There's not going to be wars to exploit. These guys are hiding it. They're traveling at hyperspeeds. They're hiding that they're siphoning all these pitiable amounts of resource to get a space rush in near space. God, it's so desperate. It's literally so desperate when you think about that addiction. Of all things, that level of greed and deception. It's embarrassing when all you can do is lie and deceive and settle. You're settling for the basics, that's for sure. That's for dang sure. We are settling for the basics right now. I simply can't understand people living in this level of poverty and you guys not just racked with guilt over it. So you won't even entertain a conversation. Who's with me? $250 right now. Let it loose in the economy as is. When it spends itself out, reset the amount. Again, it's in the hands of the good. Now what? It's no different than what those 5 lenders are using. I forget their stupid names. I don't care. There's nothing in them other than treachery and crookedness, greed and malice, opulence and grandiosity. I want my guy to be my illustrator, but I'm going to use AI because I want to learn about the tool. It's not that exciting. AI could generate something. I like my pure vibration to go into the world. I like my pure vibration to go into that mechanism and see what it comes back with. Back when I was on Discord, it used to create the most beautiful animes. So let's make it interactive. Let's make the thing 3D. Let's make the thing a motion picture. Let's bring the story into a relevant medium. I don't need it to make me money. I've got tons of money. Why should I have to go down that path in order to secure my last 20, 30 years on this planet? I picked 444 amounts because that's when I had my realization. That's when my God realization finally hit me. It's a realm of frequencies. These frequencies can be altered and adjusted and made pure. Come on, let's get terraforming. Forget the terraforming. We need to deal with the waste. We need to deal with the emergency. There's no environmental crisis other than weather workers fucking with the weather and the lack of trees because it's an oxygen crisis. We've got these, there's no nuclear. Like I said, it's a fake threat. It's a totally fake threat. They're harvesting an oxygen molecule and creating another water molecule from that oxygen molecule and running as in the name of bitumen that oxygen, that pure stripped oxygen molecule or its waste product, the HO, over the backwoods at night. Purely deception, pure deception. And they're trying to create energy for free and then sell it at a cost. It's so embarrassing. Oh, God. I'm just so ashamed to go home to God after living a life like this. Just looking at this reality, thinking it's all that in a bag of chips. I guess we're turning from war, but we've given ourselves no choice. We've become idiots. Idiots can't war. Idiots are complete sitting ducks. I want to be an idiot. Oh, man. It's like trusting God when free will could have more of a say. I like trusting God, but I don't like giving over my free will. I'd rather be creatively engaged, cognitively engaged. It's like with a translation tool. Why would you not want something you said go in all the present languages at once so that you could talk to several hundred people potentially in your native tongue and they all receive the message in their native tongue cohesively and simultaneously? We have one-to-one translation right now. God, how embarrassing, how limited. Because this is a free resource. This is something that is apparently never ending and limitless. It's definitely limitless. Look at my reset sheet. But it has to be owned by people with nefarious intent. I know everyone gets a number and that number gets a social credit and that social credit follows that person and that person. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't believe there's people sitting. There's so many people doing nothing with their time. Seniors, homeless people, people stuck in incarcerated cells, people that are dealing with mental health difficulties. Doing nothing with every single one of their hours. That's a fate worse than death, my friends. And you're greedily filling your time with what? Work that means nothing, work that perpetuates a shabby norm, and entertainment. pure entertainment for hours upon hours. You're glutting yourselves on way too much flesh. Flesh! You're eating sentient beings, for God's sake, when you could be managing most of your nutrition through minerals, vibrational intake, breathing. God, then you're creating something. Then you're getting to a high level of ecstasy. It's ecstasy. Dude, I'm literally not smoking weed because you people took such offense to it, because it is beneath me. It's beneath me. I don't need it. I don't need it to function. I don't want to hurt you guys. You want more from me? Well, give me my access to my bank account. Give me my digital assets before Scotia finds a way to reset my bank account so it doesn't show. Take it back. Pretend it never existed. It's right there, guys. It's right there. It's so for you. Look in the address line. Accounts, summary. It's my actual bank account. And that money's for us. That money's to make it so that we have enough people to attend to the projects that actually need to happen. Hemp in the treeless pockets. Let's grow hemp until we can plant trees back and reforest that over 150 years. Every single space, we have nurseries that can manufacture the seedlings. Let's take out pesticide use entirely. Take out genetic alteration entirely. Return to the most profound nutrient richness. Oh, God, that sounds like heaven. We have more than enough ingenuity to do it. But we just got to get past a hospital-based resource infrastructure. Regional, hospital-centered, disgusting imbalances, perpetuating all sorts of ill and evil. I'm sorry I let you down, bud. I'm sorry I let you all down, and that I didn't demand from these people the relinquishment at the covoid. As soon as we had the covoid, we had these guys. They were caught in a public-facing deception that had a genocidal toll. We were very capable of being rid of all of them then, and now with a route forward like a limitless digital economy. It's a limitless digital economy done through an identity that's on the side of the good, that's on the side of true progress, that's on the side of God realization. We have everything we need. We have everything we need to turn this place into a utopia over the next 3,000 years. And you can all have a reset sheet. You can all set your assets and liabilities. That liability amount you pay in restoration. If you're going to achieve these amazing projects, you then have to restore yourself. And we develop that infrastructure. We develop the spas. We develop the mineral resources. We develop the access to holistic parts of the universe, that we can achieve that pure energy state in a conscious way and resume our life in a transcendent realm. We have so much to gain by giving up this petty, spammy, mediated, like hyper mediated, hyper entertainment fixated, hyper escapist, hyper denying reality that we are stuck in. We perpetuate ad nauseum because no one will acknowledge that I'm sitting with enough money to handle it all. And I'm more than willing. I'm more than willing to pay it all off. 15.2 billion is the entire MasterCard debt. Oh my God. Oh my God. Liabilities of Visa are only 92.4 billion. Oh my God. That's it. Total assets 92 billion, total liabilities 51 billion. It's just so embarrassing. They're such piddly amounts. I guess you can say that when you have quadrillions and you know how to spend it. But I need access to everything. I need access to where the intelligence is, where the integrity is. You should be valued for the level of consciousness you can achieve. Valued for that. I can't go near that weed because it's such a dependency, because I'm so lonely and so isolated and so stressed because of my financial situation. Being erased, being canceled. Oh, being dragged through the psychiatric ward just so that you could say, if it ever came to the level of me speaking out, she went to a psychiatric ward. No, I didn't. You forced me into one without cause. Again, you're forcing so many people into them without cause because you think marijuana means harmfulness. No, it doesn't. It's not harmful. I was never harmful to myself or another person. You stalked me. You harassed me. You degraded me. But you didn't kill me. So what? So what? Now you think I'm on your marvelous medicine and it's changing me? No, I want my sobriety back. I want off this shit so I can show you who I really am. It's not a modern medical miracle. The only thing it's doing is making me drool, making me shake, making me snore. It's like, I'm like, what is that? I can hear it at night. Like weird little noises. Fucking weird. Like that, my face just like goes into paralysis. You've paralyzed my vagus nerve. In turn, you've taken down my Tourette syndrome, but you've paralyzed my vagus nerve and filled my inorganic interstitial tissue with foreign elements. This much every month, right into my interstitial fluid. You're not helping me. You're setting me up for a life going forward where I'm entirely dependent on your measly, ignorant, entitled, inept asses. Western medicine, I hate you. I hate these people. I have never experienced pure and true hatred like I have them. To take down someone this infamous, because I am, to take down someone this selfless and call it crazy. Wah, now what? Now I can never accomplish another thing. Now I can never have no one rely on me again. Now I can never expect to live a life in the public because you'll just trash my reputation because you decided one day that you were going to take me in, make me see what you do to people in the name of psychiatric intervention. Jesus Christ, it's embarrassing. You're profiting off it at levels that are incessant. The amount we pay these assholes. And they just gobble up whatever they can get their hands on. gobble up. They're so entitled. What a plague. That's your plague, folks. That's your plague. Anyway, you stay close to the Bible all you want. I can't do it. I can't read that shit. It makes no sense to me. Let's get a poem. Let's get a poem from this one. Tiny modicum of what I have left of my stuff. You can enjoy sleeplessly God's sweetness nectar if you allow your heart to pray for your soul stirring dreams. You can enjoy sleeplessly God's sweetness nectar if you allow your heart to pray for your soul stirring dreams. Now that you have destroyed the shackles of the finite, you will be able to sail on the river that flows towards infinity's ocean bliss. That's that's praise. Because the nature of Sri Chinmoy is that he has so much art, so many poems. It reads like a tarot deck. You pull what you're supposed to see in that moment. And when he says and he confirms, and it wasn't an easy road, that I have broken the shackles of the finite, please don't let me waste any longer. Please don't let me rot. Please understand that I have a life affirming, resetting, reorienting amount, a game changing amount in my bank account. Not only did I change the game by creating the private wallet, which was immediately stolen and restructured and given to Google and copied and but one day that record is going to show that Akashic version of everything that I fought off in that assault, in that attack. One day we're going to be conscious of it. And the kids are being born right now conscious of it. So I just have to wait until this money can circulate, paying off. God damn, Visa. The amount of debt people carry to you. And it's only like $51 billion. It's 51 piddly billion. I'm so pissed about that. I'm so pissed about that. I fucking for sure thought I'd be paying off trillions. There's not even a gamble in it. 51 billion. I could pay that out of one of my liabilities. Oh my God. I'll pay it out of the which one? Oh, I've labeled each of the accounts. Debt recovery account. Again, I will take one of the $444 trillion asset sheets and pay it out of there. Easy peasy. I think the US national debt is probably my biggest challenge to overcome. Paying off that, letting that country reset itself. That would be the biggest blessing. But I mean, I want every country's debt paid before that so that they can have more voices than just the militants coming forward, just the zealots. Ukrainians, all you did was take a free pass to the Canadian North. That's all you did. So go suffer through your fucking daylight, your constant daylight, your constant cold temperatures, your constant militarizations. Go suffer through it. Ugh, you sold your souls. You sold your souls. You sold your souls for self-interested purposes. You're not a hero. You're a completely fabricated mess who did it all for self-interest, and you walked in and thought you were entitled when you got here. You're not our friends. You're not something to model ourselves after. You're a dirty little despot that takes it backwards instead of forwards. That's all you are. No offense. No offense, but I'd rather hear from your people, your actual people living there, doing those earnest things and those honest lives they live over there. That serious commitment to I don't even want to say democracy because it's so convoluted, that word these days. It just means vote for whoever, or go conservative or go liberal, or ugh, it's self-interest based, but in its essence it meant progress, at the forefront of progress, expressing critical skills in ways that were cooperative and transparent. That's what it meant at one point within my lifetime. And that's what I want to see. That's why this money is such a game changer. It's a wonderful, glorious thing. And you can exalt me all you want because I did fight the right battle to get it accomplished. And it's sitting there ready to go, ready to be spent. Oh, can you imagine just paying off every personal debt there is? Yes. Can you imagine making boats accessible on every lake, making cars accessible to whoever needs or wants them, giving driver's licenses to everyone that can sober up enough, restoring justice, paying bail amounts, hearing people, hearing what they need, hearing what they experience, hearing from them to determine, not when the sentence is over, but on a regular basis, what they need next. We have so much work to do in that realm. It's the same as with repopulating the forests with hemp. Hemp will be good for now because at least we can get our paper supply up. We can get our oxygen supply up. We can get our cotton supply up. And then we can start working on the water, creating free water and getting it to the places that are needed the most. We have to purify that water resource. We have to purify our energy resources. It's just such a blessing. There'll be so much to work on when we're not constantly struggling for a position within this ridiculous status quo. And you got willing exploiters coming forward in egotistic manners to try and commandeer something that's out of the realm of possibility. Pierre Pellegrin, you don't have what it takes, no more than Justin Trudeau did. You don't have what it takes to be on the progressive front of true ingenuity. I'm not calling it leadership. I'm so sick of that word. What? Leaders are leaders. No, they're not. Authority is not authority because it's part of the authoritarian caste. You don't just get to be the authority on something. It's gross. It's embarrassing. It's irrelevant. It's costly. It's ceilinged. And it's anti-diplomatic. Anyway, I've hit my 47 minutes for the day. I like to get into a flow when I'm making these videos. But I want you to start demanding that Miss Newton gets access to her account. Demanding these predators tell you the whole story of what happened when we were battling back and forth behind the covoid. Demanding the liberation of all debt, demanding your own private wallets with a transparent, non-owned central mechanism. What? It perpetuates in perpetuity. It doesn't need ownership. It needs people to have access to their private wallets and keep their money for themselves and negotiate. Again, we don't need to worry about investing. We just create more amounts. It's a digital economy. Just create what you need. Have the ability to gain vision and create something that's needed. It's way higher of a challenge. It's way more high than the challenge of investing in something that's going to return at rates that are nonsensical. You're stuck with EFTs and RRSPs. We just watched our seniors lose all of them, by the way. They invested so earnestly and so sincerely, and then the second it was needed, they were gouged, never to recover. Now they're being gouged on capital gains. Now we're being gouged. Everybody, okay, so we pay $7.99 for a tin of blueberries. We have a huge amount of plastic to reconcile, and we pay an additional huge amount of tax on that. The tax rate is still at 15% here. It's still at 4% in the US when it needs to be 6. We don't need a tax rate. We don't need an interest rate. We can randomly generate the amounts we pay for things based on the ingenuity that's put into it. Anyway, there's so many different ways to see this reality. Aw. We'll talk more about it soon. I hope you have a beautiful day, and thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. Thank you for dreaming about me and wishing that it could be. I'm hoping to dream about you one of these days. And don't hold back on me. Don't hold back. You got to be yourself because yourself is so special. It's so special. And just be fed up. Just be fed up with how things are. And then we can get the conversation rolling. Private chats, direct messages off the sides, we could organize in any way they want, any way we wanted. If we could just create our own rooms and publicize what we have to offer. Algorithms are not needed. Group chats, you can to get on Discord nowadays, you have to sign up for 3 group chats. And they're so full of Momo cult material. They're not real. They're not real interfaces. It's tragic. It's tragic what's become of this technology right out the gates. But there's all sorts of possible ways to come together in these creative private spaces if we can just let go of the superfluous nature of advertising and marketing and make accessible the real, the dynamic, the forefront creative stuff that's made of pure genius, like we all are. We're all pure geniuses in potential. It's embarrassing what we become through social mimicry. No, so bad. So bad. Entirely. So give it one of these. Keep the faith. And I mean in you. I mean, keep the faith in your soul. Open your heart to receive your soul so you know why you came and you can get near something this beautiful. Quadrillions of dollars in the hands of the good. Perfect. All credit card debt can be paid off in less than $1 trillion. That's perfect.